welcome to the appendix video for running an update successfully from any old Siebel version that is, of course, higher than 17.0 to 24.6 or later until Oracle changes something significantly. This is applicable to all kinds of jumps you do from any Siebel version to the latest version. In not quite recently, in February 24, Oracle added a few which would aid us in understanding what goes on during the post-install database update and repository upgrade. This view is delivered as part of a repository upgrade, so you don't get it unless you run a repo upgrade. And since we're in Redwood, it's the path to Redwood. Let's use the Redwood Ask Oracle page to find the monthly updates view. There it is, monthly updates. And that shows every instance of a run of either post-install database setup, which I ran first. So this probably needs a little bit of sorting. And yeah, post-install database setup, of course, runs first. And you see the start version, the end version, you see the command line used. And for each process, you see the process log. So that's basically the content of the big log file. But in records, you can query and you have in a database table. So very convenient. And so yeah, we can scroll down all the way. So that's the final step. And you even have a lot of details here in the mouse over. So you even have the SQL that runs. So yeah, lots of information there, kept in nicely in database tables. So if the log file gets lost or whatever, it's still there. And the same is true for the repository upgrade. You have very detailed information that is also in the log files, but now it's in your database. So that's if you would like to use in case you want to understand exactly what happened, what was going on. So for example, these lots and lots of ODBC SQLs as I'm scrolling through here for the manifest update. So yeah, you can see it has something to do with row IDs, etc. So not important right now. So yeah, that's the monthly updates view that you get when you come past a repo upgrade past 24.2 and of course higher. And of course it will record, it will show. Those tables will record anything. So you can also, if you don't run the repository upgrade to get this view, you can still use these tables to have that information. And of course, when I run it the next time, it will record that from 24.6 to any higher version I run it. Another thing that I mentioned in the prior videos was a custom view that I provide through the devpops project on GitHub. So go to github.com blacksheep-crm devpops, and in there you don't need to install the entire devpops. So there's one zip file called bcrm imported object property list view, which is a view and other objects along with that, business objects and so forth, to hop on those tables that are lying under that CIF archive differences view, but provide a flat view on that data, which we discussed. And I'm going to download that file, and I have a workspace in WebTools, so I will quickly enable this by importing this CIF file. And so you can see it has, well, it's a view, it's an icon map, business object, component, bitmap, and applet. So it's a very straightforward thing. So we can import that. And notice that the view is not added to a screen. You can add it to a screen of your choice. So let's import that. Let's find maybe a screen. Yeah, that screen would just do. So help them out view. It's the system administration screen, which we can modify. So once this is imported, of course. Okay. So let's modify the screen. Let's get that view name once more. So we have the system administration screen where we quickly add that view. Let's not take any prisoners here. So, that's a query, sorry. New view, of course. And let's make that an aggregate view, so it's on top of the screen. And we just do overrides here. Very quickly, quick and dirty. Get that view in. So, well, let's put let's put the workspace inspection to a test. So I'm going out on a limb here, but and I also want to test Redwood. So the workspace dashboard in Redwood, in case you haven't seen it. So I will just, find the workspace that I have created. Includes, of course, the view. Of course, I need to expose that view with a responsibility. So let's do that. So let's go to views. Add the new view and add a responsibility. Okay, that is not the one. We have a devpops responsibility already. So let's check it out. And sysadmin is here, so we can clear the cache on that. And let's see what gives if we can now inspect that. We probably have to log. Yeah, sorry for that. We log in again to make sure the responsibility cache is there. We open and inspect the workspace. And, well, let's see if we have in that screen system administration or in the sitemap. So there's still sitemap in Redwood, of course. We have BCRM. Oh, yeah. Imported object property list view. Okay, that's the view. And let's see if we can find anything here. So that's the development environment, of course. And this is the view that we really wanted to see, which is all kinds of objects that have been modified. So actually properties. It's the properties of any imported object across the board from anything that CPDEV CLI imports. But it joins in the workspace name, so you can filter. So that was the repository upgrade that we looked at, and it's already delivered, but you can use that view pre-delivery. And we remember that we set the flag to keep the keep flag, and that's recorded in those tables. So we can see, we can have a nice report of where we check the flag, report by just exporting that data literally. Or searching for distinct data where, for example, the imported value would be empty and the pre-existing is not. So let's try that. Imported value is empty or is null explicitly, and pre-existing is not null. And that would give us all the instances of properties where Oracle is overriding any pre-existing value with an empty value, and that of course is not a good thing. So here we have something to do with the applet web template of an applet. It's a sequence number. So, and that's the only thing we didn't. Well, we also didn't capture these comments. So we did that on purpose, I think, in the workflow step. So the comments have been overwritten. So it's also good for analyzing after you run the repository upgrade, for using that information, exporting that information to CSV, keep it safe, and use it in your team. So you can really search for each and every object by name or type, and find out what has happened during the import and what is the value that you have. So that's a view I provide through devpops. It's a flat view on the same data that you see in the CIF differences view. And it works in Redwood too. Quite pleased about that. Another thing that I would like to discuss in this addendum, which I mentioned in the previous video, was a potential technique to recover from Oracle having overwritten your object during a repository upgrade. Overwritten in the sense that you missed out some things and you discover later that some of your values in a standard object, your properties, have been reverted back to, let's say, the Siebel standard. So, for example, you set that required flag to yes, and the standard was no, and after the import, it's, well, no again, and no longer required. So we have this business component here, and the trick is basically go back in time. For example, I could go back to main 18, where I know that this business component exists, or any other version. I know that business component exists in the state I knew it, and after the repository upgrade it's changed. So go back in time, open a previous version. It's a version control system after all. Open a previous version of any workspace where you know that object exists in the desired state, and then simply do a CIF export and do a CIF import in a new workspace and do a merge. So here I have opened main 18, and now I can, well, select that to add to archive here in Web Tools, and of course export that CIF file. So that's my ISS promo BC custom main 18, so I really know what it is. And so now that would be my desired state. And now I can create a new workspace. And in that workspace, I'll import that CIF file. So of course that new workspace will be created on top of the upgraded workspace, so to speak. So now we'll keep merge. So any changes from Oracle, like new fields and stuff, will be kept. And now we're basically doing what Oracle does, just in reverse. We are importing a CIF file using merge. And we can see the differences here. So for example, we see the So this would be the outcome if we didn't have to check the flags. So the repository has no values for the comments, all overwritten, right? And so we can just, apply these changes. And we also have fields. So we have our new field, and we have the required flag, which in the repository is no, because Oracle overwrote it back to standard and now it's required. So here, of course, you can pick the resolution as well. So you can still be very fine-grained in choosing file or repository for each property. And then, well, once you're ready, import that or retrofit it back to your desired state. And that, of course, requires object-by-object decisions that you need to make. Same is true for that workflow process where as we have discussed, you probably need to make a new version of that workflow in a new workspace and manually merge the changes from Oracle and your side to have a fully operational workflow again, or a task flow if you use TaskUI. But I do not recall Oracle issuing an upgrade to a TaskUI through the repository upgrade recently. So that's another technique I would like to show, but do it very carefully and understand what you're doing, but it might speed up your process of recovering from the repository merge. So with that, thanks very much for watching. Take care and bye-bye.